now. Good morning, everybody, or good evening, wherever you are out there in the world. It's World Refugee Day, and I am talking to David Barnes and Heather Hedges about staying, I don't know, we'll talk about the topic in a second, but I want you to introduce yourselves first. David, who are you, aside from being a great guy?
Oh, that's too much. I'm David. I live in Toronto. I have a background in children's services for the last 25, 30 years, and that's about it.
All right, Heather, how about you?
I'm a teacher in Peterborough, Ontario, and currently I teach students who are blind or have low vision issues. And I'm also a single mom, and I do a lot of volunteer work.
Yes, and I think of you guys both as kind of, I call them super sponsors, which means you sponsored refugees to Canada, but you've gone above and beyond that responsibility to be really in touch with some of these people, even people you're not sponsoring. You're really creating opportunities for conversation and learning and sort of emotional support, which is like so exemplary, and I admire you both so much. So I'm so excited to have you both on this video for World Refugee Day. But before we get into the kind of that topic, let's keep things kind of light and fun and slightly stupid. Lightning round question. I'll send this to you, David. It's a funny question, but what do you find is a weird thing about Canada? Like, it's just weird.
The weather. It's either freezing cold or it's incredibly hot.
Okay. Heather, you can answer that one, or I can ask you, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Oh my goodness. The best piece of advice lately has been, don't forget to breathe. Just take a deep breath and go from there.
That's a good one. And because we always have 3 questions, David, I'll ask you this one. If you had $50 million, what would you do with it?
I would set up a foundation and then be able to fund exactly what I wanted to fund around the world. That would be my dream.
Perfect. Okay, so now we're on to the real topics, which is, I guess, kind of private sponsorship. So you guys are both super sponsors, as I call them, in that you have put together teams, lots of teams. You're sponsoring lots of people, but before anyone's even arrived, you're sort of doing really amazing work. Tell us about that. Like, tell us about your Zoom calls and your what you're doing. I guess, Heather, tell us about what you're doing these days.
I think it looks different for different people that I'm in contact with. Like, for some people, it's regular text messages, just checking in. How are they? Giving them an opportunity to share what they might be going through. Sometimes that's very light, and like David mentioned, it might be about the weather or something kind of neutral. And other times it can be quite intense. Like, it might be about human rights or political issues or what their living conditions are like wherever they might be. And then other times it's videos. So I've joined David in his group a few times, for example, and I've set up a couple of like learning opportunities where we can connect through video. So it looks different depending on the person's circumstances and what they seem to be wanting and needing.
And how about you, David? What are you up to in this world?
Yeah, what's been really interesting for me is that we have about 5 young people that we are supporting, and we decided back probably 8 months ago now to set up some weekly Zoom meetings where we'll come together, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I really thought that it would be nice for them to meet each other too, because they didn't necessarily know each other. And so it's been an opportunity that has just been amazing, that we meet every Sunday morning, and it's something that we all look forward to. And what's really interesting is that it has become family. Like today, we met for our hour today, and we talked about how important each other is to each other. So that when they're telling us their story, I'm thinking, oh my God, I miss you. Where were you last week? So we've gone from just having, done the applications and have names that we are now caring about to really have creating a sense of family. And it's, and one chap this morning said, I can tell you anything. We can talk about anything on these calls. And they're very spontaneous. So there's nothing planned. It's just sort of how we're doing this particular day. So that's been really powerful. And that's what I get back, give and get back is huge.
That's an important point, and Heather, I want to hear about it from you. It's not just that you're doing things for people like Mother Teresa, but I find when you do this stuff, you get a lot back. You learn a lot. You have a kind of richer emotional sense of yourself and of other people. Tell us about what you get out of these sort of interactions and interventions and projects.
Yeah, it's constantly evolving. Like, I think at the beginning I got a lot of cultural knowledge, like, what's your background? Where did you grow up? What language do you speak? I've always been very curious about that. And then now it's more, it's hard to explain, but it kind of deepens my understanding of like the human condition that unites everybody. And even though we may live, time zones away from each other, we do experience some very similar emotions. They may just come from different circumstances. Like we might experience loss and grief and excitement and joy, and it's easy to feel like you're the only person in the world feeling something. But when you connect with somebody from a whole different set of circumstances, it just has this unifying community building feel to it. It's kind of hard for me to explain, but I feel more connected to, you see stuff on the news and you feel kind of helpless or disconnected from it. And it's easy to feel like you don't have any control over what's happening. But when you build a relationship with somebody, it feels more like you're not just this person in Canada with this nice life, and it feels like your friendships are important, and we're all in this together, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It makes sense to me. What do you think, David? What have you sort of felt or gained or experienced as you've gotten involved in this work, volunteer work?
Yeah, sometimes I feel even selfish because the folks that we're connected with are so grateful for our help, and they always keep expressing that. And at the same time, I keep thinking, no, I'm getting equally as much from you as well. And during this pandemic that we've been living through, we've had so many conversations about just being resilient and being hopeful and optimistic. And so when I say to them, when I hear them say, I had a great day, I think, oh my God, here, if you asked anybody, my day was okay. Like there's something so different. And so I leave these calls, I leave these text messages feeling, wow, this friend has given me so much today. So it's been a real nice equalizer for me, and it has felt so good. And I like to share that with other people so I can get other people interested in why they might be considered doing this type of thing together with us. It's just like just growing our extended family. And it's like Heather said, we are so interconnected, and these things just demonstrate that over and over again. And it's so powerful.
Yeah, that gift of perspective, that's a really nice way to put it. It's a really great way to stop and pause and like reflect on your own circumstances, and to realize maybe things that you took for granted. So it's a continuous sort of like, self-reflection. What do I have that I should maybe be more grateful for? And like you said, resilience, like what these people have often gone through is unimaginable to me in most circumstances, because it doesn't reflect what I've had to go through in life. And I can learn from them how to be strong and how to dig deep when you need to. So
exactly.
Yeah, well, I'm grateful for the two of you existing on this earth and being such wonderful people and doing such wonderful work of connecting and and supporting and helping and bringing people to Canada for that matter. So I want to thank you for that, and thank you for giving us your time today. So
Thank you.
I'm going to hit end on this, and I encourage everybody to become Heather Hedges and David Barnes in your own ways. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Leadership.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
All right.